community pool, which is why I want to recognize him, and which is now in the 53 years, I believe, and a volunteer for Boy Scout Troop 7. And then a non-Madison resident who is certainly part of our family, Bob Dolan of Florham Park, passed at the age of 92, born in Morristown. He started his life here in Madison before settling in Florham Park. He is a graduate of St. Vincent Martyr School, enlisted in the Navy, served our country from 1948 to 52 in the Korean War. And as I said, he is part of our family because anyone that has attended a Memorial Day recognition or Veterans Day recognition will know Bob Dolan, his role as the chaplain for American Legion Post 43. So we will miss him this Memorial Day, and he will always be in our thoughts. So let's take a moment to remember Teresa Paoli, Tom Walsh, and Bob Dolan, and now let us pass our thoughts on to their families and friends they leave behind. Thank you. All right, can I have a motion for executive minutes of March 28, 2022 and April 11th, 2022?
So moved.
Second.
And we've already discussed these. All in favor?
Aye.
And a motion for the regular minutes of March 28, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Any corrections, discussion, changes? All in favor?
Aye.
The regular minutes of April 11th, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Any corrections or changes? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, welcome all. I hope everyone enjoyed this great July weekend we had, but I'm happy to be back into early May weather. And I'm also happy to be back here in person after my extended stay in Florida following a positive COVID test and recovery time. Again, this serves as a reminder that as we approach the season of graduations, weddings, and backyard barbecues, we need to continue our vigilance to protect ourselves and loved ones. Thankfully, my wife and I tested ourselves and we were able to isolate and not spread the virus through what was planned to be a Mother's Day celebration and then a 96th birthday celebration. So, you know, if you're wondering, test. And of course, this past Saturday, or a week ago Saturday, while I was still stuck in Florida, was May Day. And so I did not make it back, but I want to thank all those who volunteered to spruce up Madison, and thank you, Council President Bob Landrigan, for presenting the annual Arbor Day proclamation. And a few other things that were happening. Another one that was before I returned was the Stop and Shop grand reopening. I congratulate them on the great renovation and reinvestment in Madison, and thank all the council members that were able to attend that. And a couple other things. On Thursday, I was one of 3 presenters for Leadership Morris Economic Development Day. I'm a Leadership Morris class of 2003 alum. I was one of 3 mayors who shared economic development activities in our respective towns, and I have to say we had the best story to share. And I discussed our downtown and the steps we were taking to fill the office space at Draw the Farms, and this is leading to a discussion with the Morris County Chamber, so it was very worthwhile. And as I talked about the downtown, I shared the importance of having a strong Chamber of Commerce, an active DDC, and the importance of our Director of Business Development, Lisa Ellis. All those are keys to our success. And then Thursday was the most fun part of my last week, which was when I got to be a guest reader at the Kings Road School reading night, joining Fire Captain Ed Nunn and Officers Chris Burns and Stephanie Aquino. And my book was a great thriller, What's Under My Bed? Recommended to all. Saturday was the Friends of the Library were able to do their annual benefit once again. And this year they recognized Tom Bittinger for his many years as the library trustees chair. His dedication and love for the library has enabled it to continue to be a treasure of Madison through a time when libraries are rapidly evolving the way they serve patrons. And also, yesterday, which was not the ideal day to go for a bike ride, 90-degree heat, but if it's the e-bike, it is a great day to do it. So Pettico was celebrating their opening once again. We did a ribbon cutting about 8 months ago, and we did it now with corporate from Pettico there, and their van had come across country. The CEO was in attendance to celebrate the opening and their 8 months of success. The celebration included the 6-mile bike ride, which I did join in on. And as I said, it was not something I would have done on a 90-degree day, but I can tell you that a motor-assisted e-bike can make for an enjoyable ride even on a hot summer day. And our Madison police did a great job escorting the bikers through Madison streets to the Lewanika bike trails and back. So I want to congratulate shop owner Debbie Benjamin for her first 8 months, and in those 8 months she's been a great supporter of community events. And now I'm going to come down and do a proclamation, and this is in honor of Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and we are honored to have in our midst, and will join me in a second, is Patrolman Renato Capillas. Renato was born and raised in the Philippines, where he graduated high school in 2018. He graduated County College of Morris with an associate's degree in criminal justice. He was appointed to the Madison Police Department following the completion of basic police training at the Essex County Police Academy as an alternate route on March 16, 2021. And some of his hobbies are Alpha Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and cooking for his family, which is a great one. So come on up to accept this proclamation on behalf of all the Asian Americans. Whereas the month of May was chosen to be as Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month to commemorate the immigration of the first Japanese citizen, Nakahama Manjiro, to the United States on May 7, 1843, but also the anniversary of May 10, 1869, completion of the first transcontinental railroad built on the backbreaking labor of nearly 20,000 Chinese immigrants. And whereas Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month seeks to honor and recognize the contributions of residents from Asia, India, and the Pacific Islands. And whereas Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders make our nation more vibrant through the diversity of cultures, languages, and religions. And whereas we celebrate and honor the invaluable contributions the AAPI communities have made to the arts, law, science and technology, sports and public service, including courageous AAPIers who have served in the front lines of the COVID-19 pandemic as healthcare providers, first responders, teachers, and other essential workers. And whereas while achievements and contributions of Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders enrich our history, our society, and culture, we must also acknowledge the darker aspect of the AAPI experience in America. Structural discrimination, prejudice, injustice that most recently manifested itself in racist attacks on Asian Americans related to the pandemic. And whereas diversity represents one of our greatest strengths, by recognizing the contributions and accomplishments of AAPI persons, the Borough will put our values of inclusion into practice and build a brighter future for all our residents. Now therefore I, Robert H. Conley, the Mayor of Borough Madison, on behalf of the governing body, do hereby proclaim May 22nd as Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month and encourage Madison residents to learn about the history of Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. I want to thank you for accepting this. I'd like to say you want to say just a few words about your background and your pride?
Yes. So my name is Renato F. Capillas Jr. I came from the Philippines back in 2008. I was 15 here when I came to the United States and didn't know anything about the United States as a whole. So I started from zero, coming from a poor family. So I took this a chance to prove myself that I can become successful someday, and to also make my family proud. It's an honor to be here. I would like to thank you all for doing this. I appreciate it to be part of Madison family, to be part of Madison Police Department. This all I can say is I can promise you that I will do my best to perform my ability to serve and to protect our community, and also to be part of this big community that we have in Madison, and also to make my family proud as always.
And I'm sure you have made your family proud, and you have made Madison proud already in your time here. Thank you so much for your dedication. Thank you.
Congratulations, man. Actually, off the I came in on his day off. Thank you for coming in.
And just so everyone knows, while he's wearing his uniform today was his day off. And I can vouch for that he was working yesterday because he was part of the escort crew for our bike ride. So thank you again for taking time to come in on your day off.
Good night.
And now we'll move on to reports from committees. Utilities, Council President Landrigan.
Thank you, Mayor. From the Electric Department installed a new transformer on Rosedale Avenue to remedy a low voltage issue. The department has been performing transformer borough maintenance all week. On May 11th of this year, the Electric Department reported a car pole accident on Madison Avenue at the intersection of Shady Lawn Drive. A luminous light pole and LED street light fixture had been struck and had fallen into the street. The department moved the broken pole out of the road and to the side. The following day, the electric crew was dispatched to retrieve the pole. On Saturday, May 14th, the standby crew was called to 27 Gibbons Place for a downed wire. The wire had fallen off the house due to rotten wood. On Saturday, May 14th, the standby crew was called to Station Road to remove a large branch from the wires. And finally, the department continues to do markouts, house services, and replacing the old HPS street light bulbs with the new energy-efficient LED heads. From the Water Department, the department located, excavated, and repaired 3 curb boxes to allow the homeowners contractors to make necessary repairs to their water services. On Wednesday, May 18th, the department shut down the water on Cook Avenue from Ridgedale Avenue to Community Place. During the shutdown, the domestic and fire lines were tied in for the new building being constructed on Community Place. And finally, anyone interested in the installation of radio-readable water meter, please call the department to make an appointment. And also, being it's summertime, from the Water Department, the Borough Administration and the Madison Water Department are asking all Madison residents and businesses to observe voluntary water use restrictions during the months of June, July, and August. Outdoor use for water, for lawn and shrub watering, car washing, driveway and sidewalk washing is restricted to alternate days, borough officials advised. Residents and businesses with even-numbered addresses may water outdoors on even-numbered dates, while residents and businesses with odd-numbered addresses are restricted to using water outdoors on odd-numbered days. Borough officials also noted that there should be no outdoor water use between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. on any day. For any additional information about voluntary water restrictions, please call the Madison Water Department at 973-966-7330. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. And public safety, and also if you have finance for Deb Maureen Burton?
Oh, no, I don't have it for Deb.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I can do that.
Okay. We've got it covered.
Okay, good. So for tonight's council meeting, a bit of history. Today, the Madison Hook and Ladder Company number 1 celebrates its 141st anniversary. Prior to 1881, Madison had 3 devastating fires the Morristown Fire Department had to come and extinguish. The following is from the in-house historian, Lieutenant Robert Dunn. The next major step in fire protection for Madison was when a group of citizens held a meeting on May 2nd, 1881, for better fire protection. This meeting was called to order by Chairman Edwin P. Felch in O'Brien's Hall, located on the third floor of 28 Waverly Place. This building was later called the American House and moved to Lincoln Place in 1926, where it still stands today. A resolution was made stating, quote, that a society be performed for the protection of life and property from fire. A motion was made to appoint George C. Smith and Charles Fred Force to procure articles of incorporation and report on such at the next meeting. It was also resolved to have Nayland Dickerson and James C. Burnett to report costs on a hook and ladder truck and equipment. The next meeting will be held on May 9, 1881. During that meeting, residents submitted their intent to incorporate a fire department in the Madison Journal. On May 23, 1881, the Madison Hook and Ladder Club No. 1 was duly incorporated. The original signers of the incorporation consisted of Alfred Force, Cornelius Bush, David Cooper, Edward M. Hopkins, Benjamin Burnett, Charles Fred Force, James Bryce Jr., Samuel Brandt, Nayland Dickerson, Edwin Absalon, Edward DeHart, James D. Burnett, Fred Barden, Edwin P. Felch, Charles T. B. Keep, Marcus Crane, and George C. Smith. When the police department, Corporal Joe Duraco recently completed a 1-week motorcycle crash reconstruction investigations course at Middlesex County Police Academy from May 16th to 20th, 2022. Corporal Duraco is currently assigned to our traffic safety unit. And finally, the First Baptist Church and Zufall Health is partnering with the Madison Police Department to hold another COVID vaccination event at the Madison Public Safety Building. The event will be on Friday, June 10th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. They will be bringing both Moderna, 18 plus and over for vaccines, and Pfizer, 12 and over. Booster eligibility. Everyone 12 and older should get a booster shot. If it has been at least 5 months after your second Pfizer or Moderna shot, or at least 2 months after your 1-dose J&J shot. At this time, only the Pfizer vaccine is authorized and recommended for adolescents aged 12 to 17. Eligible adults may choose which vaccine they receive as a first booster dose. The CDC recommends getting mRNA vaccines, i.e. Pfizer, BioNTech, and Moderna, which are preferred over the J&J vaccine for prevention of COVID-19. A second booster shot is also available for the following groups. Everyone aged 50 and older can get a second booster shot with Pfizer or Moderna at least 4 months after their first booster shot. Everyone ages 18 and older who got their primary J&J shot and J&J booster at least 4 months ago can get a second booster shot with a Pfizer or Moderna COVID-19 vaccine. Finally, persons 12 and older who have moderate to severe immunocompromise can get a second Pfizer or Moderna booster shot at least 4 months after their first Borough shot. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we move on to Community Affairs. Mr. Hoover.
Yes, from the Downtown Development Commission and the Director of Business Development. The next meeting of the Downtown Development Commission will be Thursday, June 16th at 7:15 p.m. Once again, I'm saying that it is an open public meeting and everybody's invited to attend. Madison Farmers Market is celebrating its 30th anniversary this year. It is open on Thursdays at Dodge Field from 1 o'clock in the afternoon to 6 p.m. The market runs through Thursday, November 17th, and will feature live music weekly. Bottle Hill Day is scheduled for October 1st. Sponsorship and vendor information will be released this week. I'm going to say this one more time. Again, the Green Avenue parking lot located between the Presbyterian Church and Rose Garden Park on the corner of Green Avenue and Kings Road is now open to the general public. This parking lot, close to Waverly Place in the heart of downtown, will provide free 2-hour parking to those visiting Madison. For a map and all information on parking in Madison, go to the parking information page on rosenet.org. A web page for information on the Waverly Place Reconstruction project has been added to the rosenet.org, and you can find it on the Main Street Business Development page. All project updates and information will be shared here as the project planning moves forward. Chamber of Commerce. Chamber's annual awards dinner will be Tuesday, June 14th at the Brooklake Country Club, beginning at 6 p.m. Fire extinguisher inspections are being held on Wednesday, June 22nd from 12 to 4 p.m. on the corner of Central and Main. General public is welcome. The Madison Community Arts Center. Our May 21st, 22nd doubleheader musical showcase event was a big success with enthusiastic audiences each night. Both concerts were streamed live and are available on the Madison Arts and Cultural Facebook site. The Madison Hidden Figures Project will be in residence at the center from June 1st to 10th. Gallery hours will vary, and they are posted on the Arts Center website. And there will be events associated with the gallery on Wednesday, June 1st, and Friday and Saturday, June 3rd and 4th. Full details are available on the Hidden Figures website, hiddenfiguresmadison.org. The New Jersey Jazz Society will hold the first of 4 Sunday concerts on June 3rd, at 3 p.m. on June 5th. The new Madison Public Theater production of Kiss Me Kate is holding regular rehearsals at the center on Monday and Friday evenings. The third of our monthly open mics will continue with the Arts by the People Literary Platform series on June 1st with a 7:30 sign-up and an 8 p.m. curtain. The open music mic continues on June 8th with sign-up at 7 o'clock and Wednesday at 7 and curtain at 7:30. Third Wednesday comedy open mic will begin in July. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. And now Public Works and Engineering, Ms. Ehrlich.
Thank you, Mayor. The Engineering Department is pleased to report that the Hartley Dodge Memorial Plaza contractor will complete adjusting the granite entrance slabs and reinstall railings this week to bring the work up to the design specifications. And we are excited to announce that the construction fence will be removed by Memorial Day. And we express our appreciation for the public's ongoing cooperation with the period of extended closure of the plaza. We're looking forward to reopening it in June. The road reconstruction work on Howard Street and Norman Circle is scheduled to begin just after Memorial Day. The contract also includes some sidewalk and paver improvement work throughout town, and residents affected can expect to see those notices from the contractor and municipal staff as the work proceeds. The Madison Public Library roof replacement bid documents were advertised, and the bid opening is scheduled for June 23rd. The project includes new rubber roofing surfaces with a lighter color to reduce summer cooling costs and improve energy efficiency. This week, the Engineering Department and engineering company Bowler, that is working on the Waverly Place redesign, will schedule a public presentation for some alternate design options resulting from the stakeholders' public design charrette meeting. And those alternatives will also be shared on the Madison webpage, as Mr. Hoover mentioned. Public Works Department reports that DPW crews distributed materials prior to and then assisted in the May Day events on this past 2 Saturdays ago. Public crews continue to work on items on the list that need to be completed. The Engineering Department and DPW also participated last week with the Climate Action Committee members to discuss ways the DPW and engineering can help reduce Madison's greenhouse gas emissions. The DPW is continuing to plant street trees throughout the borough, as well as replace manhole covers and frames on the streets that are slated for milling and paving this summer. Repair of the downtown clock at Waverly Place is ongoing. Some parts have been replaced. Hopefully, all 4 faces of the clock will be correct by the end of this week when one final part is received. Residents are reminded that twice-a-week garbage collection has started and that they can check Recycle Coach to see what can and cannot be recycled and what to do with items under the What Goes Where feature on the app. It can be viewed on the borough website, or the app can be downloaded to your phone. The Madison Environmental Commission reports that the town-wide yard sale took place on April 30th and raised $1.1 million, but it's $1,100 for the Great Swamp Watershed Association. There was a composter sale that involved 5 towns, sold approximately 36 composters to participants in the sale, and a very successful multi-town native pollinator plant sale done with the Great Swamp Watershed Association was a huge success with 23,000 plants ordered directly from growers and about 1,800 plants bought by Madison residents. A multi-town mosquito spray education campaign is in development to help build awareness of the dangers of mosquito spraying to our pollinators and other friendly insects that are a vital part of our ecosystem. And Madison Library is currently featuring a table curated with a selection of books about trees and forests. And finally, Shade Tree Management Board reports that in April there were 23 permits requested, totaling 45 trees to be removed. 19 trees were recommended to be planted as replacements, and no permits were denied. As the mayor mentioned, we had a fabulous Arbor Day celebration on May 14th, rescheduled previously from the 7th due to rain. And it was held at the Crescent parking lot and was a tremendous success. We had great school children performances with singing, poetry reading, and maypole dancing. And a big thank you to Nancy Bruce, who organized and emceed the event, did a great job. There were tree seedlings made available at the event, about 90 of them. Some of them were distributed at the Arbor Day event, and the remainder are being cared for and can be available for further distribution at Borough events coming up. Jean Krakovia, the chair of our Shade Tree Management Board, gave a successful talk at the Madison Rotary meeting in April. And in other tree news, the James Park cherry trees are under consideration for pruning this year. That's all for engineering and public works.
Thank you. And with health and also covering Deb's finance report, Mr. Range.
From the Health Department, Morris County's COVID-19 community level is now high, so that's gone up. COVID-19 cases have steadily increased over the last 7 weeks in Morris County and largely across the Northeast, with weekly cases in Morris County at 451 per 100,000 residents. These are some of the highest case counts we've seen since February. Hospitalizations continue to increase as well, but nowhere near the levels of the post-holiday Omicron surge. Nationwide, and especially in the Northeast, there has been a steep increase, however, in older Americans being hospitalized. There is some indication that locally this wave may be starting to plateau, but as we've said in the past, it is likely too early to draw any hard and fast conclusions at the direction of this latest wave. As Morris County's community level is high, the CDC does recommend all persons wear a mask in public indoor settings, especially where social distancing and ventilation remain challenging. And this would be regardless of vaccination status. This would include also while on public transit, such as airplanes, trains, buses, taxis, ride shares, etc. This is a simple and effective way to contribute to our collective public health while still engaging in the day-to-day activities we all enjoy. Remember, staying up to date with your COVID-19 vaccine is an important step to blunt the impact and reduce the severity of COVID-19 for those who are vaccinated and on our community as a whole. Maureen, Councilwoman Byrne, mentioned several groups that are eligible for their boosters, but one note, last Friday, the CDC did authorize and recommend that children 5 to 11 get a booster dose 5 months after their primary series. I don't think that's going to be available at the Zoo Fall event that Councilwoman Byrne referenced, but other places will have it available in the coming weeks. While that recommendation is now effective, it may be some time before healthcare providers and scheduling systems will allow you to serve that population. Children under 5 still remain without an authorized vaccine. However, both Pfizer and Moderna have submitted data to the FDA seeking review and emergency use authorization approval for doses for those younger children. Hearings are expected this summer. Lastly, tonight from the Health Department, a special thanks to our environmental health inspector team in the Health Department who had a busy week last week with several specialized inspections, including those for the farmers market and at the community pool to ensure those cornerstones of Madison summer are healthy and safe as they launch their respective 2022 seasons. From the Utility Billing Department, if you're having trouble paying your utility bill, residents are encouraged to visit rosenet.org to find out more about various assistance programs that are available, including pandemic-related programs funded by the American Rescue Plan Act. Also, some exciting news. As of today, customers can use American Express to pay their utility bills. Residents are encouraged to visit rosenet.org and sign up for Invoice Cloud. This platform allows residents to pay with a credit card or with direct ACH payment from your bank. You can create an account, view your balances online, select paperless billing, set up auto pay, and get bill pay reminders. From the Finance Department, there are two interesting resolutions on this evening's agenda, and both are related to the investment of excess funds. The first is amending the cash management plan. Every year, at the annual reorganization meeting, we pass a resolution approving our cash management plan. This document outlines the types of investments that the Chief Financial Officer can make with idle funds. The state of New Jersey has strict guidelines on the types of investments. Examples of investments that a municipality cannot make include purchasing stocks or long-term bonds. The state does permit investing in an instrument called Local Government Investment Pool. Our cash management plan does not mention this type of investment, so tonight we'll be voting on updating it so we can invest in those plans. There is also a second related resolution we will be voting on tonight, which will permit the CFO to invest in the New Jersey Asset and Rebate Program, one of the largest local government investment pools in New Jersey. Investing in these types of instruments will generate more interest income for the borough, which will help offset some of the recent revenue losses we experienced due to the pandemic. And that's all from Finance and Borough Clerk. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. And now we move on to communications and petitions.
Yes, Mayor. Mayor and Council received several communications. A letter dated May the 12th from the Shift Natural Land Trust supporting conservation of the Drew University Forest. An email dated the 18th of May from Peter Ostberg of Longview Avenue opposing Memorial Field as a solar carport site. An email dated the 18th from Colin Greenidge of Rosedale Avenue opposing the solar carport at Memorial Park. Another email dated the 19th from Kate Hamilton of Longview Avenue, noting that a solar carport at Memorial Park would be detrimental to the neighborhood. An email dated the 19th from Doug Saxon of Rosedale Avenue, voicing his concern for a solar carport at Memorial Park. Another email dated the 20th, 2022, from Sonia Chaudhry of South Street, thanking the mayor and council for their efforts to preserve the Drew Forest, and an email dated May the 23rd from Chris Hepburn of Hardwick, New Jersey, urging the council to continue their preservation of the Drew Forest.
Thank you very much. And just clarification, since we had so many communications related to the solar panels along Rosedale, the presentation that we had a couple meetings ago showed potential sites for solar panels as we try to create some solar generation right within our border for the community benefit. And those were only potential sites. When we move forward to extend the conversation, we will have further discussions on which of these sites are the most appropriate and which wouldn't be the first priority. So please stay tuned. Certainly no decisions have been made at all. And now we move on to our first of two invitations for comment from the public. This one is limited to our agenda discussion item or the resolutions. If you want to comment on a ordinance, we'll have hearing. The ones we have hearings, you may comment at that point. And if for those that are for introduction, you can comment on the next comment period. At that time, you can comment on also anything else. Tonight's agenda discussion is a presentation from the Senior Center of the Chathams on our new partnership and the programs offered. And these are the resolutions you may comment on. Resolution 149 is authorizing purchase of two new hybrid police vehicles from Bayer Ford of Morristown. This is in the amount of $81,713.55, and this is coming from the police outside duty fund, which is the administrative fees paid for road patrol and other things. Resolution 150 is authorizing the purchase of the accessories for the aforementioned two cars, and this is multiple contracts, 2,067, 14,336, 17,981, and 5,048, and this also comes from the same fund. Resolution 151 is authorizing the purchase of 2 copiers from Document Solutions. This is in the amount of $24,953.30, and this is coming from the operating accounts. Resolution 152 is granting Moms Demand Action permission to tie orange ribbons around trees from June 1st through June 10th in support of National Gun Violence Awareness Day, which is June 3rd. And for those, I encourage you to wear orange on that day. Resolution 153 is applying for youth leadership grant of $3,900. Resolution 154 is supporting the preliminary alternative plan for State Route 24 Columbia Turnpike Park Avenue interchange, and what we can do is have a presentation at a later meeting so you can see that, but there is the information on the county website, and this is to improve the access to 24 East, but more importantly for Madison residents to eliminate the fly across 3 lanes of traffic in 600 feet to make the left-hand turn on Park Avenue. As you'll see in the presentation, the minimum recommended distance to make that maneuver is 1,200 feet. And so it is well short of recommended, and that, no surprise, is a high accident area. Resolution 155 is authorizing the annual Downtown Concert Series, and starts June 24th and on July 8th, July 22nd, August 5th, August 19th, and September 2nd, all on Green Village Road from 5 until 9. Well, that's a closing hour. The concerts, I think, start at 6. Resolution 156 is authorizing donation of surplus items to the Mars Habitat for Humanity, and this is items left over in our senior center building. And Resolution 157 is amending the cash management plan, and Eric did a great job explaining that, so I won't say anything more. And that is also related to Resolution 158, which is authorizing to invest in funds in New Jersey Asset Rebate Management Program, as explained. If you wish to comment on any of those resolutions or the agenda item, please step forward. Seeing none, we close this part of the meeting. And I welcome Julie Reich from the Senior Center of the Chathams, Executive Director. Yep, right on over there. We'll bring up the presentation. As people know, we have entered in an agreement with the great programs that are being offered by the Senior Center of the Chathams. Right now, the programs are offered at their center and maybe in other locations, but we look forward to at some point be able to do these right here in Madison. So it's welcome, Julie, and as I said before, we're looking to a great partnership. And just in case you're wondering, we do have a light audience here today, but we do have a live feed, and we are the #1 locally produced Monday night show in Madison.
All right. So thank you for having me. It's a pleasure, and we're really excited to work with Madison. The Senior Center of the Chathams is a standalone nonprofit. We've been around since
I need to move a little closer to the microphone so we pick you up.
1987, been over 30 years, and we're a private 501(c) with our own board of directors. We are, some folks think we're a town entity because we're called the Chatham Senior Center, but that is not the case. We have older adults from 6 different counties. We are definitely more Chatham and Madison centric, but we have people from all over. Next. So our mission is to keep folks together. Our mission is to keep, okay, I'm just losing my mission here, sorry. Our mission is to keep older adults connected and engaged in the community and community at large. And I think that the pandemic, if it's shown us anything, how devastating the impact of isolation can be. So that is the core of our mission, and all of our programs and ranges of services and programs come from there. Next. We have over 800 active older adults right now from Chatham and the surrounding communities, and we provide about 35 weekly program offerings, which are different programs, and that comes out to about 90 a month, and we sort of categorize them in different quadrants. We have fitness and wellness, We have enrichment, which is more of our lecture series. We have supporting connections, which is our support groups. I'm proud to say that we are one of the few senior centers that offer older adults support groups run by a licensed clinical social worker, which is really pivotal. Everybody goes through transitions, but as you age, the amount of transitions that you navigate are more. That, and certainly with COVID, in that this has been a very important thing. They're grant funded, so they're free to all people that come. New programs this year, thanks to Madison, we brought back all. I did call it ping pong, but I was corrected. It's table tennis. But we have a very core group of table tennis folks here. We're doing a legal forum workshop on advanced planning and health directives, arts and crafts series, etc. Next. We, in terms of fitness and wellness, we have instructors from the Madison Y that actually come to the center, and that does make a difference for some folks, even though they could technically go to the Y, they prefer to exercise at the center. We also have Tai Chi and nutrition classes, exercise, blood pressure screenings, anything health related. We also have table tennis, pickleball, which has attracted a bunch of new people from different communities, because pickleball, as we know, is all the rage. And here is just a picture of folks playing pickup basketball, and they really do. And some of these men are in their 80s, well in their 80s, and they're playing pickup basketball, which is cool. Next. Enrichment, we have all sorts of programs, from play reading to bridge to art classes to water shop. I think the point is it's not one size fits all. So we have a range of programs that fit people where their skills and interests are. So we have a lot to offer. Next. And then I'll mention again the support groups. And we have a men's group, a discussion group. And I'm just going to give you an example of a referral that came in today. A resident from Madison called, and they were referred from their social worker at Summit Medical Group. I think they're working with the geriatrician there. The husband is developing dementia and has the early signs and symptoms, and he's been withdrawing from the community. He used to be very active and engaged in Madison, and she was referred to us to see how she can keep her husband engaged in the community. And certainly, as I explained to her, that there is something for everyone, that and encourage them to come. It sounded in this case that this gentleman would really love the Weekly's men's discussion group, although sometimes those discussions do get heated, I might say. We also have then support groups, so it's not just for the husband, it's also for the wife, who's the caregiver, to come out and have some respite and have some connection as well. Even just having a cup of coffee and talking to other people is a service. Next. And then finally, we do have the other arm of information referral. I'm a social worker, and we do have social work students, so we can help with doing all sorts of seminars, and we bring into the center for fraud prevention, benefits that older adults are eligible for, housing options. And by the way, these seminars are not just for the older adults, it's for the adult children too, that are sort of grappling with how to help mom and dad. We also have ARP taxes come. We have the state health insurance program doing Medicare advocacy. And we also help navigate next steps. We make referrals and we have conversations as things start to happen in the family. And that's something that we make ourselves available. So that's what we got. Next, and that's it. Any questions?
Right, so we'll take some questions, and just for a process, Maureen, I'll call on you last, just because I can't see you raise your hand at home, and if I happen to forget you, please shout out and let me know. I'll take a comment. Yep, Bob, go ahead.
Yeah, this is just a comment. I'm very impressed with everything you offer. The physical part, like the basketball, well, you'd never see me playing basketball. That's number one. Those guys can run around me. But what I do like is the support and the connection part. with the pandemic and the challenges nowadays, I think that's vital. And the last piece about the services that you provide, with the way the economy is changing right now, healthcare, and even finding a place to live for some of these people. Boroughs, I think those two parts of your quadrant are probably the most important. I really applaud you for having them.
Thank you.
And as our liaison to community affairs, John Hoover is our liaison to the board. And John, I don't know if I just put you on the spot, but if you want to.
Oh, not at all, not at all. Because they are a 501c3, they have a board of directors, and I'm the liaison to that board, not a voting member at all. But I did attend their first meeting, which was excellent. I think your board is terrific, it really is.
Yeah, they're very engaged.
They are really engaged, really. I mean, they really are. They go and see things and they touch things and
they
they make things happen. Is it my understanding that Mondays are your day off?
Mondays?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay, that's what I was told. I was told that.
Fridays.
Monday evenings are probably.
Yeah, Monday evenings, yeah. So I thank you for coming and doing this. But I enjoyed doing it, and I'm looking forward to participating. We're also working with the Chatham Senior Center on a couple of projects. One is the WISE program. Another is the Madison High School Day of Service. We solicited some material, sent some material out.
Yep.
And the third one, there was a third one that I think we
talked, I think, about Northwest Cap, about making
Northwest
calls to
Cap,
isolated
reassurance,
seniors.
right, exactly, and maybe that will happen. We're investigating those things right now.
Right.
So we're engaged as a community with the Madison Chatham Senior Center.
Right.
Thank you very much
Thank you.
for everything.
Comments from, all right.
I guess I just want to thank you for such an informative presentation. I really, I'm kind of amazed by the wide range of services you provide, and I'm so glad to know more about it because I'd be very happy to refer people that I get to know in the community to the Senior Center. And I'm so glad that we now formally have an agreement to have Madison residents participate. So thanks for this great presentation, really great.
And Maureen, anything you want to add or questions?
Just, it was a wonderful presentation, and I'm really glad that Madison seniors are able to go to the Senior Center in Chatham to avail themselves of all the programs.
Great.
And just a couple of comments to close up. And one, if people aren't aware of the facility, this was built as a school in the 1970s, a Mountain View School in Chatham Township. I think it was definitely before the districts remerged. And they quickly learned that the open floor concept for elementary schools was not a good one, and it was closed not too long after. So what didn't make a great elementary school has made a great town hall for the township, but more importantly, a great program center for the Senior Center, the Chathams. To have that gym, the separate spaces, and all the activities going on is incredible. And then when you look at, we hosted for many years our own senior center, but we were very limited as to the programs we could offer in a limited space, but also the limited population. By creating this partnership, we're now using a great facility, and the breadth of programming is far wider than we could have ever done. And thank you for your leadership, and thank you for this partnership.
Thank you for the opportunity. We're excited. Okay.
Thank you for coming in. All right, now we move on to ordinances for hearing. Will the clerk please read the statement?
The ordinances scheduled for hearing were introduced by title and passed on a first reading at the regular meeting of the council held on May 9, 2022. All were posted and filed according to law, and copies were made available to the general public requesting same.
I call up ordinances for a second reading. Ask the clerk to read said ordinance by title. Ordinance 23-2022.
Ordinance of the Borough of Madison establishing a complete streets committee.
I open the hearing. Anyone wishing to comment on this ordinance, please step forward. Seeing none, I close the hearing.
Mayor, I move ordinance 23-2022.
Second.
And a reminder again, we've had this committee, but we just never formalized the structure for it. So this is in place. Any other further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Byrne?
Yes.
Mr. Hoover?
Yes.
Ms. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Landrigan,
Yes.
Mr. Range.
Yes.
I declare ordinance 23-2022 adopted and finally passed, and ask the clerk to publish notice thereof in the newspaper and file the ordinance in accordance with the law. Ordinance 24-2022.
Ordinance of the Borough of Madison appropriating $1,425,000 from the Water Capital Improvement Fund and $575,000 from the Water Capital Reserve for the replacement of water meters and communication modules.
I open the hearing for ordinance 24. Anyone wishing to comment, please step forward. Seeing none, I close the hearing.
Mayor, I move ordinance 24-2022.
And I'll second ordinance 24-2022.
And this is part of the capital budget and the planned replacement of meters. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Byrne?
Yes.
Mr. Hoover?
Yes.
Ms. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Landrigan?
Yes.
Mr. Range.
Yes.
I declare ordinance 24-2022 adopted and finally passed, and ask the clerk to publish notice thereof in the newspaper and file the ordinance in accordance with the law. Ordinance 25-2022.
Ordinance of the Borough of Madison appropriating $65,000 from the General Capital Improvement Fund for replacement of hydraulic hoses and repairs to ladder truck, which is Tower 1.
I open the hearing for anyone wishing to comment on ordinance 25. Seeing none, I close the hearing.
Mayor, I move ordinance 25-2022.
I second ordinance 25-2022.
Council discussion and part of the budget. Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Byrne?
Yes.
Mr. Hoover?
Yes.
Ms. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Landrigan?
Yes.
Mr. Range.
Yes.
I declare ordinance 25-2022 adopted and finally passed, and ask the clerk to publish notice thereof in the newspaper and file the ordinance in accordance with the law. Ordinance 26-2022.
Ordinance of the Borough of Madison appropriating $43,600 from the General Capital Improvement Fund for the purchase of Firefighter turnout gear, thermal cameras, and gas sensors.
I open the hearing. Anyone wishing to comment on ordinance 26, please step forward. Seeing none, I close the hearing.
Mayor, I move ordinance 26-2022.
I second ordinance 26-2022.
Any council discussion? Also part of the capital budget. Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Byrne?
Yes.
Mr. Hoover?
Yes.
Ms. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Landrigan?
Yes.
Mr. Range.
Yes.
I declare ordinance 26-2022 adopted and finally passed, and ask the clerk to publish notice thereof in the newspaper and file the ordinance in accordance with the law. And now we're on to our second of two invitations for public comment. This is when you may comment on any topic. Please step up to the lectern, state your name and address. Try to keep your comments to 3 minutes, but we give you your usual 1 minute grace period.
Claire Whitcomb, 12 Fairwood Road. I enjoyed the senior center presentation, and it's interesting. It reminded me of just when the pandemic was hitting, the plastic bag ordinance was going into effect, and the Environmental Commission was doing a reusable bag drive, and one of our goals was to equip the seniors with reusable bags. And I don't know that anybody needs a reusable bag 2 years later, but I actually think there's a glut. And there was a conversation on Facebook about what to do with these. And if you order from Fresh Direct or places I don't order from, you get bags. And so there's just tons of them, but they can go to food pantries. And also Renee Shalhoub, who used to be on the MEC, collects. We'll take those bags. She lives at 37 Beverly. You can drop them off on her porch. And she uses them for Mutual Mars, which is a mutual aid group that she started that helps residents in need in Morris County and does shopping, grocery shopping, and things like that for them. So I just wanted to point that out. As the mayor and council know, you received a letter recently from the Whippany Watershed talking about the Drew Forest, and it's in support of saving the Drew Forest, and it hits all the notes that you probably already know. It's aquifer recharge, it's community space, it's a living laboratory. But I just wanted to give you a little backstory on what it takes for a small nonprofit to John knows, he and Maureen too, they're partners with the Watershed Action Group, but they came twice to the forest. They have not a lot of staff. It takes some effort to prepare a letter to, go on a walk with Dr. Webb and Christine Hepburn. And it's really quite moving that these small nonprofits, the Shift Nature Center, they are hearing about the forest and making a commitment to speak up for its environmental benefits. And I looked up where the Whippany River is because I didn't actually know. And it's a 20-mile river that comes off the Rockaway, and it's goes through Morristown and the Whippany part of Hanover. And the Drew Forest is actually in the Whippany watershed, and Madison has 5 ponds, and 2 are the ponds in the forest. And just yesterday, I was in the forest with a Girl Scout troop from Chatham, and we got sort of buzzed by a blue-great heron flying from one pond to the other, and they were really, really happy. And there was a lot of turtles out, and they picked up tulip flowers from the tulip tree, and they could see how those seeds went, and they really liked looking at the Mayapple plants and trying to find where the buds were. And I just want to say that the girls responded enormously to being in a place with animals and birds, and these spaces are not available for kids. I asked them why there was a deer fence and why there was a fence, and it took them a long time to figure out what that was for. And to see the flowers in the forest, it has such huge potential to educate and enrich the community. And Lydia and I gave the tour, and I told them, and we both feel this, that it's just been a privilege to get to know the forest and to advocate for it. So thank you for your continued support.
And just for the record, I didn't give you a 1-minute warning because I was giving you a little grace period because you're a good public service announcement, and you ended right at 4 minutes, so well done. But yeah, thank you for the comments on the Drew Forest, and a great story on the scout visit, and greatly appreciate your sharing what to do with the plastic bag, the reusable bags that may inundate. And I'm hoping that the various delivery services will figure out a far better way than making people get a reusable bag and not take them back to be refilled. So that's my pulpit for the moment. And there is no one else seeing no one else to comment at this period. We will close the public comment period, and there are no ordinances for introduction, so we'll go on to consent agenda resolutions. Will the clerk please read the statement?
Consent agenda resolutions will be enacted with a single motion. Any resolution requiring expenditure is supported by a certification of availability of funds. Any resolution requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda. All resolutions will be reflected in full in the minutes.
Mayor, I move consent agenda resolution R-149-2022 through R-159-2022.
Second.
Any discussion or any that need to be pulled? Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Byrne?
Yes.
Mr. Hoover?
Yes.
Ms. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Landrigan?
Yes.
Mr. Range?
Yes.
There is no unfinished business. Approval of vouchers. Will the clerk please read the voucher totals?
Yes, from the current fund, $7,131,529.62. From the general capital fund, $72,732.02. From the electric operating fund, $884,312.90. From the water operating fund, $49,803.36. From the trust, $118,769.18. The total is $8,256,147.08.
Mayor, I move approval of the vouchers.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Byrne?
Yes.
Mr. Hoover?
Yes.
Ms. Ehrlich,
Yes.
Mr. Landrigan,
Yes.
Mr. Range.
Yes.
Under new business, I'd like to make the following appointment, requesting council confirmation to the Board of Health, Mitchell Horn, Niles Avenue, unexpired 2-year term through December 31st, 2022.
I'll move the nomination.
Second it?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 And Mayor, I move we adjourn the meeting. Aye.
Yes, that was a... All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you all. Thank you, Maureen.